Hello luxury watch lovers! In this channel, I cover the background, fundamental design features, and things to consider before buying your watch. If you have a luxury watch that you'd like me to cover, let me know in the comments below. In this video, we will cover the Monta Atlas GMT. Micro watch manufacturers present an intriguing and strange gamble to the uninitiated, since, on the one hand, they lack the reputation and track record that inspire and reassure many watch buyers. On the other hand, they're novelty, and most importantly, they are worth way more than what they lack in history. As a result of successfully navigating a very competitive and slowly evolving industry, the brand Monta has gained a cult following among watch collectors. When the Monta Atlas is worn, it is easy to understand why so many people have such positive things to say about the company. About the Monta Atlas GMT. Consider the Monta Atlas to be GMT's opposite. It doesn't try to portray a romanticized piece of pilot equipment and doesn't rely on the tactic of seducing armchair aviators into an impulsive, ignorant purchase. Instead, we get a watch that indicates the time and, as a bonus, throws in a second time zone. But it does it with some of the greatest levels of fit and finishes you'll find in the micro-brand market today, maybe in the purest way conceivable. I eventually found myself having to abandon my GMT preferences and concentrate on what the Atlas was, rather than what I wanted it to be. You'll love reading a set of polished rhodium-plated hands to determine the time. They are carefully diamond-cut, after which they are polished to a high gloss. The blue GMT hand with an arrow tip is another. The hand has a little curve that allows it to stretch to the edge of the dial without bumping into anything to clear the attached indices. It is hardly perceptible while reading the time from top down, but you will note that it is angled. The second hand resembles the GMT hand in shape. However, it is smaller. Again, you'll notice an arrow-shaped tip at the end with a tiny plot of lume inside. Let's take a look at some of its design features. We're looking at a case size of 38.5 millimeters and a thickness of 10.2 millimeters. It has a lug-to-lug of 47.5 millimeters and a lug width of 20 millimeters. Regarding movement, it has a Sellita SW330. Its dial is protected by a sapphire crystal, and it has a water resistance of up to 150 meters. You can expect to pay about $1,615 for this watch. Here are 4 things to consider before buying the Monta Atlas GMT. Starting with number 1, the case. The first 3 adjectives that come to mind when looking at the Atlas 38.5mm steel casing are finishing, finishing, and finishing. There is an even distribution of polishing, straight brushing, and delicate sunburst brushing. Although the finishing may appear intimidating on paper, it isn't in actuality. A fine-grained brushed finish runs horizontally from lug to lug down the edges of the case. The side of the fixed bezel can be seen angling outward, coming to a point, and then angling back in toward the flat sapphire crystal as you move up the case. You will continuously be drawn to the bezel's 2 sides since they are polished to a mirror-like sheen. The sunburst that is brushed around the bezel encircling the opalin silver display is what immediately draws my attention while seeing the watch from top down. Anywhere on a watch that has a sunburst style finish is a winner in my book. You'll notice straight brushing on top of the lugs. Where the end links meet the case, there is a polished angle in between the lugs. The lugs look thinner than they are because of this intriguing feature. The impression is more pronounced when the watch is on the bracelet, since the polished part is flanked by brushed metal on either side. A pretty unusual crown protrudes from the case's right side. It resembles an onion crown, but it's more elegant. Although it isn't quite as big or intimidating, it still has the same deep ridges etched into the sides that make adjusting the time, date, and GMT hand relatively simple. This location also lacks a crown guard, which makes changing the time even simpler. If you pay great attention, you'll see that the crown has been very slightly recessed into the casing for added protection and a more streamlined appearance. Moving on to number 2, the dial and hands. Opaline silver is the name of the shade of silver used in this review sample. It is a pale silver with a faint metallic sheen. The dial has subtle blue accents all over it, most notably on the tip of the GMT hand and on the flange between the GMT hour markers. Each hour is denoted with a precisely cut and polished applied index with larger accents at 3 and 9. A trapezoidal index with a wide beginning and a narrowing point appears at 12 o'clock, adding a great striking accent without being overpowering. When you look closely at each of the hour markers, you will see 4 printed hash marks signifying distinct minutes. There are multiple surfaces on each of the indices, and they are all mirror polished. There is a white date window with a highly polished frame in place of the marker at 6 o'clock. The brightly displayed Monta logo is located just below 12 o'clock. The fonts used for Monta works nicely with both the Atlas and the rest of their watches, and their logo mark is elegantly designed. Atlas is written in blue beneath the hands. Swiss Made appears in small letters flanking the date window, but is nevertheless readable despite its light appearance. Onwards to number 3, the movement. If you turn the watch over, you may view the Sellita SW330 movement up close via the display case back. The SW330 is a small, Swiss-made automated GMT caliber. The GMT hand rotates the dial once every 24 hours on the SW330 movement. It is simple to adjust the GMT hand to the desired time if you frequently switch between time zones. Simply remove the crown screw and turn it counterclockwise. The hand will leap from hour to hour as you turn the crown. Since the 24-hour hand is attached to the hour hand, some people will claim that this movement is not a genuine GMT movement. Setting the required time on the main hands first, then leaping the GMT hand to point at the desired hour is an easy way to get around this. And last but not least, number 4, the straps. The bracelet or strap that the Atlas comes with depends on the model. The bracelet version is an oyster-style bracelet with a tapered clasp and lugs. The bracelet has brushed top and side surfaces with a polished bevel in between. This method gives an otherwise matte bracelet a small flash of shine. It complements the case very well. You will discover a sizable clasp with 4 tiny adjustment holes beneath your wrist. It feels incredibly sturdy. A commanding and pleasant click signals the primary component's installation. A tiny security clasp bearing the Monta logo folds over the top to provide an additional measure of security. The bracelet, in my opinion, has the perfect amount of heaviness and comfort. It evenly distributes the casing on the wrist. The bracelet is of the best possible quality and design you will ever find. The watch has fully articulated links. Monta has gone above and beyond to provide a tight fit. The middle link and the 2 outside links of other bracelets with 3 links are frequently joined. The middle link may travel forward and back to fit your wrist. The range of motion is significantly reduced when a bracelet is constructed from fused links. Without a doubt, the completely articulated links of the Atlas contribute to the watch's great wrist comfort. The second time zone is set by the crown in its initial position, making the GMT's operation clear-cut and comprehensible. Despite how good this feature is, It does mean that a quick set date is not available. If you've ever owned an antique watch, this could worry you, but I can assure you that it was not a difficult chore to set because of how prominent and shaped the signature crown was. The relationship between form and function is delicate. The watch is steel with a silver dial, so you may match it with almost any strap that you like. Overall, it gives the Atlas a more relaxed appearance and holds up well. No need to worry about the dial's faint blue accents clashing too much with any strap. When it comes to adaptability, the Atlas excels because of how effectively it strikes a balance between casual and dressy. The watch's slim case also helps because it makes it simple to tuck in beneath the cuff. And this really does make it simple to choose the Atlas as your go-to everyday watch. And this wraps up my review of the Monta Atlas GMT. Thank you for watching this video. Nothing helps my channel more than you watching until the very end. These videos do take a long time to make, but are a labor of love. If you enjoy this type of content, let me know in the comments what other watches you think deserve their own video. And remember, time is your greatest asset.